My stepmother was incredibly wealthy. She and my father had gone their separate ways. When she left, stepmother took only two things, me and the pile of junk from that house. It was only then that I realized my stepmother was the daughter of the city's richest man, and I, by default, became the granddaughter of the wealthiest person. Today was truly a happy day. Stepmother filed a lawsuit against my father, her goal to win custody of me. They had been divorced for half a month already. The things that belonged to stepmother were still in her house. I once advised her to dispute ownership of the house with my father. After all, they were once married, she shouldn't leave empty-handed. Stepmother glanced at me, her nose twitching coldly. "Is there anything in that house worth keeping?" I was speechless. For years, if stepmother hadn't financially supported our family, my father would probably have lost all his fortune long ago. Forget valuable items, all the furniture in the room was made of stone, bought by my father, some half-carved, some intact. They were all just worthless bits of rock. Honestly, I always felt my father treated stepmother quite well before he got into stone gambling. But now I was about to lose her. The day stepmother left, I sat hunched by the door, sighing. She didn't take much, just a small leather bag, impeccably dressed, radiating the sophisticated aura of a noblewoman. I sadly bowed my head to her. "Goodbye, Mom." Stepmother took off her sunglasses. "Goodbye? What goodbye? Aren't you coming with me?" I was stunned. "I can come with you." Stepmother gently nudged me, then casually picked up the pile of junk bag and tossed it aside. "You silly girl, you're the only valuable thing in this house. If I don't take you, who will I take? Leave those other things, hurry up, you're too slow." My heart raced with excitement, and I quickly grabbed her hand, happily following. It was too good to be true. My biological father and stepmother divorced, and my stepmother was taking me with her. Stepmother took me to Riverside Manor, the most exclusive villa complex in the city. I tugged at her sleeve. "Mom, I can't afford a house here, don't even look." Stepmother snorted. "This is my house." The villa, it turned out, belonged to my stepmother. Not long after, I realized the truth. Not just this villa, but the entire row of villas belonged to her. As soon as we stepped through the gate, an old man in uniform spotted us. He quickly called out, "Young Miss is home." Immediately, a swarm of bodyguards rushed over, lining up neatly on both sides of the road, shouting in unison, "Welcome home, young miss. Welcome home, little young miss." Little young miss, what on earth? Before I could fully process it, a man with a cane approached from a distance, scrutinizing me from head to toe. I was startled. The more I looked, the more familiar he seemed. Finally, I remembered. Wasn't this Chin Yan Nam, the city's richest man, often featured on financial news channels? He glanced at me, then said coldly, "Come here." My stepmother gently pushed me forward. "Go on, greet him." My heart full of trepidation, I walked up to him, utterly unsure how to address him. After a long moment, I stammered, "Grandpa." The old man burst into laughter. "Ha ha ha, my girl's daughter has sharp eyes, I like it." "Come on, sweetie, say it a few more times. Grandpa will buy you a huge airplane." It was at that moment I understood. Chin Yan Nam was my stepmother's father. Oh my God, I was the granddaughter of the city's richest man. My tone when I called him Grandpa sounded just like those adorable little gourd dolls calling their grandpa. The old man was overjoyed, putting his arm around my shoulder as we entered the house. "Good, very good. Grandpa will buy you a big airplane." I thought he was joking, but the very next day I actually saw a giant pink airplane parked on the lawn. I stared blankly as a young man stepped out of the plane. He was tall and handsome, with alluring eyes that looked at me affectionately. "Are you Hana?" I nodded. The corner of his mouth curved slightly as he reached out to pat my head. "Hello, my little sister I've never met." I never imagined stepmother had an older son than me. Ethan T. was a handsome, tall young man. Stepmother's surname was Khan, but his was T. So both my father and stepmother had been married before. She even had a son from a previous marriage. Immediately, I felt as if I had been deceived. Even Ethan T. kindly asked if something was wrong, but I couldn't utter a word. Honestly, I was very fond of stepmother. She was so beautiful. The first day my father brought her home, I thought a beautiful flower had been planted in a pile of cow dung. She was only in her early 40s. Back when my father still had money, her vanity table was always filled with expensive skincare products and cosmetics. Stepmother's face was smooth and radiant like a blossoming flower. If someone said she was in her early 20s, everyone would surely believe it. My biological mother had passed away many years ago. When such a beautiful woman appeared, wanting to be a part of our family, I hoped my father would marry her quickly. When they went to register their marriage, stepmother herself told me that she would treat me as her own daughter from then on, and that I would be her only child. But now stepmother suddenly had another son, even older than me. My heart plummeted, turning cold. "What's wrong, Ethan T? Are you bullying your sister again?" Stepmother came down from upstairs. Seeing my unhappy expression, she quickly pulled me close. Ethan T feigned innocence. "No, Mom. Grandpa told me to show Hannah the plane, so I brought it down." "Show her the plane? Come on, darling, let's try out your new plane." Stepmother cheerfully led me onto the plane. Sitting on the huge plane, I still felt a little troubled. Stepmother touched my forehead, asking worriedly, "What's wrong? Don't you like it? Why are you sad?" I whispered, "No, Mom, you tricked me." Stepmother looked surprised. "Tricked you about what?" I said. "Didn't you say I was your only daughter?" Stepmother paused, then loudly scolded, "Ethan T, what nonsense are you telling your sister?" Ethan T looked even more helpless, batting his large, pretty eyes. "What did I say, Mom?" "What did I say?" I gasped in surprise. Stepmother explained, "That's right, he's my sister's son. You can call him your cousin, or just brother is fine." Ethan T wasn't stepmother's son, but her older sister's son. This made me feel utterly dejected for most of the afternoon. I was dumbfounded. "I thought he was your son, Mom." Stepmother gently tapped my head. "Just raising one greedy pig like you is enough to tire me out." Now I was overjoyed, lying on the spacious private jet, enjoying myself. People say that having money makes one arrogant and conceited. Not only was I arrogant and conceited, I was smug and haughty too. Don't ask me why. Stepmother was rich, Grandpa was rich, so counting roughly, I was also rich. Grandpa gave me a card, not revealing how much was inside, only saying it was my allowance. Stepmother, about to go for afternoon tea with her friends, glanced at me and quickly said, "If Grandpa gave it to you, just take it. If you spend it all, tell Mom. Oh, and the garage is full of cars. If you don't like being driven by the chauffeur, just pick any car and drive it." Stepmother finished speaking and left. I sprinted down to the garage. Cars of every kind. My eyes were dazzled. Sports cars, SUVs, racing cars. Even though I knew nothing about cars, I knew their common trait. In short, one word, expensive. So I grabbed a tiny, compact car because it looked exactly like a gray eggshell. It looked adorable, so I chose it. On the way, countless eyes followed my car. Cars on both sides of the road yielded to me constantly, making me a bit self-satisfied and overconfident. I ended up crashing into a car right in front of Escapee. Gritting my teeth, I got out, eyes wide. The owner of the crashed car started yelling, "Who's the blind idiot who hit my car? Can you afford to pay for my car?" When he finally saw my car clearly, his pupils nearly popped out. Chopped fish head with chili? So my car was called Chopped Fish Head with Chili. What a strange name. I quickly apologized. "I'm sorry I hit your car. We can use insurance or negotiate privately. I'll send you whatever the cost is." "Compensation? Can you afford compensation? Do you even know what kind of car this is?" He drove a beat-up car all the way to Escapee to show off. He really thought hard but couldn't find the right words to express himself, his face turning bright red. I kindly suggested, "Idiot." He said, "Yes, extremely idiotic." I said again, confused. "He's so confused. Stupid. He's stupid." Oh dear. The tall young man stomped his foot in anger, wanting to vomit blood. "Are you playing tricks on me?" Because he looked quite like a handsome, foolish, rich kid, I pondered, feigning sincerity, "Let me make a call first, okay?" The foolish, handsome man became wary, looking at me with high alert. "What are you doing? Calling for backup. I'm telling you, it's useless even if you call someone." I knew it was useless, but I had the power of money. The first thing I did was call stepmother and told her I had just been in a car accident. There were strange noises on the other end of the line. I seemed to hear a loud rumbling. Do ladies have this kind of fun after afternoon tea? As soon as she heard I had an accident, stepmother's voice became 100 times louder. "Car accident? Where are you? Are you hurt? Is it serious?" I quickly said. "I'm fine, but what about the car?" "Stepmother, did I wreck my car?" I said awkwardly. "I hit someone else's car. The front ornament is completely ruined. Mom, wait a minute, I'll send you a video." I took a picture of the foolish, handsome guy's car and sent it. Stepmother saw it and immediately sent me 2 words. "How awful. Out of all the cars, you had to hit the most expensive sports car. What you called a toy is a Rolls-Royce's spirit of ecstasy." Rolls-Royce? This ugly car that looks like it was bought on Taobao is a Rolls-Royce. My legs turned to jelly as I replied to stepmother. "Mom, if you sell me, will it be enough?" Stepmother didn't answer for a long time, probably busy with something. The handsome guy stared at me as if he'd seen a ghost. I couldn't take it anymore, so I proactively asked for his business card. Jaehoon Jang ***. The name sounded smart, but the person didn't seem very intelligent. Immediately, Jaehoon plopped down on the ground, looking up at me and saying, "Just call your family to discuss compensation. Either way, I need a clear explanation." I could only force a smile. "Of course, I'll definitely compensate you properly." Just as I was about to sit down, Stepmother finally replied, "I've already told your brother to come." Immediately after, that man suddenly appeared like a god. A black and white motorcycle glided swiftly like angel wings. He began to elegantly remove his helmet. I smiled, but nothing came out. Even without seeing his face, I knew Ethan T was embarrassed. I was about to stand up to help him when, in the next moment, my brother also removed his helmet, feigning nonchalance. "I'm a little late, sorry." No, I hadn't even finished speaking when Jaehoon, sitting next to me, quickly interjected, no problem, not late at all. Don't stand in the sun, come here, it's cool in this spot." This person's attitude changed so quickly, I'd seen enough. I was a little annoyed and reproached him. "You didn't say that to me earlier." He immediately changed his tone. "So what? Look at your brother, handsome and polite, clearly a trustworthy person, and look at your brother's clothes compared to yours and look at his car. Brother, can I touch your car? Just a tiny bit." He held up his hand, making a tiny gesture. Ethan T waved his hand, "Go ahead and touch it." Jaehoon's eyes lit up and he immediately pounced. "Wow, this car is modified, titanium alloy valves." He was ecstatic. Taking a deep breath, the smell of freedom. In front of Gucci in the SKP area, the two began to argue about whether it was better to ride a Kawasaki R6 or a Yamaha Tyrannosaurus. Honestly, I didn't want to interrupt their discussion, but I seemed to see flashing blue and red lights in the distance. Jaehoon turned and shot me a sideways glance. "What now?" I replied. "Honestly, I don't want to get involved in your conversation, but I think there's a police car." Jaehoon acted casually, saying, "Let them be, if they come, they come. It'll be convenient to settle my car too." I let out a remark, "You're right, but the problem is I'm not old enough to drive." On the way home, Ethan T drove while constantly scolding me. Wind lashed at my face as I retorted, "I'm almost old enough. My ID card will make me an adult in just 1 month." He angrily shouted, "You're not old enough and you're driving? Do you have a death wish?" But the truth was, I really was almost old enough. As for my ID card, I still had to blame my father. That year, to avoid household registration checks, my father left me without a household registration for an entire year. When I was 4, my father had me skip 2 grades, even bragging everywhere that I was a prodigy. But in reality, I was only 1 year younger than my classmates. My father even used the prodigy title to throw parties, receiving tens of thousands of yuan from friends and relatives. However, I didn't receive a single penny of that money, and I don't know what he spent it on. When we got home, Stepmother and Ethan T took turns scolding me. Stepmother complained, "If I wasn't busy playing mahjong, I would have come looking for you myself. And your father letting you learn to drive? What nonsense, you're not even old enough." I was surprised. "So you were playing mahjong this afternoon?" Ethan T added, "That's right, Auntie not only likes playing mahjong but also enjoys drinking, gambling, and disco dancing." I didn't want to hear it, I always thought Stepmother was a gentle, considerate woman who knew she was such a party animal. I asked her, "Why didn't I see you play mahjong before?" Stepmother softly replied, "Actually, I usually play when you're at school." My heart shattered, my perfect image crumbled into dust. Stepmother tugged my ear. "From now on, when you go out, you must be driven by the chauffeur or your brother, understood?" I dejectedly replied, "Yes." Just as I was feeling annoyed, a voice boomed across the living room. "My sweet granddaughter." Grandpa walked in, leaning on his cane, moving faster and faster. When he reached me, he tossed his cane aside. My jaw dropped in surprise. "What?" A cane made of rare Huanghuali wood inlaid with jade, just tossed aside so casually. Grandpa looked me up and down, his face filled with distress. "Oh, my precious granddaughter, are you hurt?" I struggled to speak. "Grandpa, I'm fine, but I crashed someone else's car." "Just a Lamborghini, we'll pay for it, what's the big deal? Don't worry, we have money to compensate." Grandpa fiercely protected me like a mother hen her chick. "A few million yuan is nothing, don't worry about not being able to pay." Stepmother frowned, retorting, "Dad, don't spoil her too much. She's not even old enough and she's already driving." "Oh dear, that's not good. My granddaughter is naughty, why aren't you old enough yet?" I couldn't believe it. Just now he praised me as a good granddaughter, and now I'm naughty? I softly argued. It's just that my ID card was delayed by a month, that's all. Even so, you shouldn't imitate others and drive before you're old enough. It's dangerous. Under Grandpa's pressure, I reluctantly nodded, then asked the question that had always bothered me. Grandpa, it seems your legs were weak, right? Why don't you need your cane now? Grandpa chuckled. I was just pretending. My legs are perfectly fine. This style truly ran in the family. The next day, while I was still sleepy, Ethan T pulled me out of bed and dragged me to the shopping mall. I groggily asked, "Brother, what are you doing?" Ethan T put his arm around me and led me into a store. "You've been back for half a month, and your brother hasn't bought you anything yet. This outfit is beautiful. Try it on." The clothes in his hand, even for someone who didn't care about brands like me, I knew they were outrageously expensive. Coming out of the fitting room, I was afraid the staff would hear, so I tugged my brother's arm and whispered, "Brother, maybe let's not. This outfit is so expensive." Ethan T quietly replied, "It's okay, I have a lot of money." Instantly, I felt a surge of energy and started shopping wildly. With his words, I felt completely at ease. Ethan T. After that, I tried on almost all the clothes in the store. Looking at myself in the mirror, the more I looked, the prettier I felt, the more I liked it. Indeed, expensive clothes looked incredibly refined when worn. Ethan T was incredibly patient, even helping me choose jewelry to match the outfits. My father had never gone shopping for clothes with me like this before. For some reason, a hint of sadness welled up in my heart. I reached out and hugged my brother's neck. "Thank you so much, brother." Ethan T awkwardly didn't know where to put his hands. Finally, he gently patted my head. His ears were flushed. He cleared his throat. "What are you thanking me for? We're family." But I seemed to hear his heart pounding. In his eyes, there was a tenderness he hadn't managed to hide. I didn't expose him, but quickly turned to find a staff member to pay. I didn't want him to know that my heart was also racing. For the past half-month, Ethan T had always cared for me attentively. I guess Stepmother must have told him to look after me, but every time he showed concern, I couldn't help but be touched. A sudden voice interrupted my thoughts. "Excuse me for the interruption. Your total bill is 80,000,001 and 100,001. Would you like to pay by card or cash?" Ethan T replied. "I'll pay by card." Then I watched him fumbling for his card for almost 10 minutes. A bad premonition suddenly struck me. Brother, don't tell me you forgot your card?" Ethan T frantically wiped his forehead, though there wasn't a single drop of sweat, and honestly confessed, "I think I really did forget." Ethan T, I really wanted to kill him. At the crucial moment, Stepmother was still the savior. Stepmother, 1m78 tall with a powerful and elegant aura, walked over and swiped her card. Ethan T and I trailed behind, carrying large and small bags just like a queen leading two servants. Stepmother, wearing sunglasses, smiled and said, "All right, you two go have fun, I still have to go for afternoon tea." In my heart, I secretly thought, she's definitely going to play mahjong again. "Hannah," suddenly I heard someone call my name. Reflexively, I answered, then immediately froze. My father looked at me with deep, dark eyes. It had been more than half a month since I last saw him. Since Stepmother took me in, she had never mentioned my father. Everyone in the house treated me like family, making me fantasize that I was a princess. But the moment was right. After midnight, I was Cinderella again, an ugly sewer rat. I felt myself trembling. Even though my father wasn't far, his eyes were sharp and cold, making me fear he was hiding a knife and would attack me at any moment. The terrifying image of my father was deeply ingrained in my subconscious. No one knew that my father was an abusive domestic violence perpetrator. From my earliest memories, our house was always noisy with the sound of things being broken and his curses whenever he was drunk. Each time, I tried to escape. Otherwise, I would be his target for venting anger. He didn't give me money for tuition, nor did he care about living expenses, so I had to earn a living by working at a restaurant, washing dishes until my hands cracked, or wearing bulky, hot mascot costumes to hand out flyers. When Stepmother moved in, my father suddenly changed, behaving like a normal person. My tuition was paid, my living expenses were covered, I was no longer beaten without reason, and he even told me, "You must treat your new mother well, my child." Unexpectedly, Stepmother grabbed my hand, stood in front of me, shielding me with her body, her voice full of anger. "What are you doing here? Didn't I give you 200,000,001 so you'd never appear in front of Hannah again?" Stepmother had given my father 200,000,001. My father took a few steps closer, a sinister smile on his face. "What good are your paltry few coins? Hana is my beloved daughter. What's wrong with me wanting to take her home? Besides, the court summons has already been sent to the house. By what right am I not allowed to take her? A court summons? My mind reeled, completely not understanding what they were talking about. 200 million. A court summons. These two didn't seem like an ex-couple at all. Stepmother crossed her arms over her chest, looking coldly at my father. You should find a good lawyer to deal with this, instead of wasting time arguing here. The trial is about to begin. I will absolutely not let you take Hana. My father sneered. Just wait and see. You think with just that much you can take my daughter? Don't dream. He brushed past me, saying in a voice just loud enough for the two of us to hear, You and your mother are truly two peas in a pod. Ethan T., who had been silent for a long time, suddenly lunged and punched my father, grabbing his collar and shouting, Get out! It was only at this moment that I knew the truth. Stepmother was not my stepmother at all. My father and she had never divorced because, in reality, they had never married. The two had signed an agreement. Essentially, stepmother and my father would pretend to be husband and wife, and in return, stepmother would give my father 200 million won. I trembled as I asked, Why did you do that? Stepmother sighed, pulling out a photo from her bag. She pointed to a person in the photo and said, Do you recognize this person? This is your mother, also my best friend. Your mother passed away when you were very young. I always thought she had passed away naturally, until one day I saw the scars on your body. Reflexively, I touched the cigarette burn scar on my waist. Your father had long known that your mother and I were best friends. That day he came to me demanding money, bluntly asking for 50 million won. I suspected he was involved in gambling, but he vehemently denied it. I was very worried about you, so I signed the contract with him, also so I could conveniently take care of you. Later, he also revealed his gambling habits. No wonder my father had suddenly become so good. No wonder my father was frequently away from home. No wonder I always felt something strange between stepmother and my father. It turned out it was all just an exchange. My father didn't buy any skincare products for stepmother. It was all a show for me. He took the 200 million won, only using it to pay for my tuition and living expenses. All this time, stepmother was the one who had raised me. She lovingly stroked my hand. It was as if she was looking through me, searching for something. It was only much later that I found out your father used domestic violence, but your mother never told me. I always thought you two lived very happily. Your mother's death wasn't natural, your father lied. My heart plummeted into an abyss. Mom, didn't she die of depression? Stepmother firmly asserted. No, she didn't. The more she spoke, the more agitated she became, even standing up on her chair. She was definitely killed by that beast. I've got his weakness, I'll make him pay. She's gone, I can't let him hurt you. You are my daughter, no one can take you away from me. I hugged her tightly, her tears soaking my collar, flowing straight into my heart. I didn't remember much about my biological mother because she passed away when I was too young. My father didn't care about me. When I was hungry, cold, and had no money for food, I used to blame my mother for not being able to stay with me longer. But looking back, she must have died slowly in pain and resentment. As if. If only your father, I interrupted her, stepmother said firmly. He is not your father. He will never be your father again. The day of the trial, I wore the new clothes stepmother bought for me. I was like a princess sitting in the audience row of the courtroom. My father insisted that I was his biological daughter, while stepmother was always on the defensive. In the middle of the trial, stepmother suddenly presented crucial evidence, an audio recording of my biological mother. He hit me, he even wants to hit Hana. I hate him, I want to take Hana away. Immediately after my father's voice, What are you muttering, you ugly woman? Give me the money, quickly. Money, don't hit me, When the recording was played, the entire courtroom buzzed. I couldn't bear it anymore and ran out of the room. Since I was a child, I had no mother. My father said she died of depression. No one knew the beautiful life I led hid such an unhappy family. My body was covered with traces of abuse. My father was the biggest culprit. I longed for her warmth, so when she left, I followed her regardless. When the trial ended, the crowd gradually thinned. My father was arrested on suspicion of intentional homicide. He was locked in a police patrol car, and in that moment he wildly shouted towards me, Hana, I'm your father. Hana, you're heartless, you're nothing. Ethan T. covered my ears with both hands. He gently touched my forehead and said, Don't listen. His hand, with a pleasant fragrance, gently rested on my left shoulder. Immediately, a wrinkled hand rested on my right shoulder. I burst into tears and called out, Grandpa. his eyes filled with compassion. Grandpa affectionately stroked my head, slowly saying, I was planning to wait a while longer to throw your birthday party, but it seems there's no need to wait anymore. In that moment, I felt the grandeur and charisma of a seasoned businessman from him. Grandpa turned to Stepmother and said, Inform everyone to prepare. In 5 days, I want this entire city to know that my granddaughter has come of age. Stepmother let out a soft laugh. Are you sure, Dad? Grandpa snorted. What's there to be unsure of? Once I've decided, I won't change my mind. From now on, Hana is my only granddaughter. No one can replace her. In a place I knew nothing about, the news that Chin Yan Nam was throwing a coming-of-age party for his granddaughter spread widely among the city's business elite. All preparations for a lavish party were silently underway. Ever since the incident with my father, Stepmother bought me so many things every day, as if she wanted to make up for all the affection I had lacked for the past 18 years. Ethan T., also worried I might be sad, didn't go to the company but stayed by my side. Actually, they didn't need to be so sensitive. I was indeed sad, but only because I felt sorry for my mother. No one would sympathize with an abuser, even if he was my biological father. The day he was escorted away by the police, all my suffering ended. I didn't tell anyone. I went alone to Namsan to visit my mother's grave. I placed a bouquet of lilies before the tombstone, then wrapped my arms around it. Mom, you'll forgive me, won't you? No one answered me. Only a gentle breeze brushed against my cheek, carrying away my last tear. I didn't hold on to it, turning and walking down the mountain. In my ear, a lullaby someone had hummed echoed. I softly sang along. Hush, my darling, my mother's darling, I'll give you a little sweetness so you can sleep soundly tonight. Hush, my little imp, my mother's little imp, touching your face makes me love this world. I heard my mother whisper, My love, I wish you happiness. A message from a high school friend arrived just as I was solving puzzles with Ethan T. in an escape room. Suddenly, I was added to a chat group called All Night Frenzy. As soon as I joined, someone tagged me. Hana's in. Hey Hana, remember to come to the class reunion tomorrow. A class reunion tomorrow, but this didn't seem like a newly created group. This bossy tone annoyed me. Another person tagged me, feigning concern. Hana, your situation doesn't seem to be very good, does it? It's okay, just bring someone along, at most I'll cover everything, haha. Besides those two, everyone else in the group was silent, as if playing a prank. I remembered these two from high school, they were the ones who despised me the most. My face was cold as I typed. What time, where? Someone immediately replied. 8 p.m. tomorrow, Caillou Palace. Caillou Palace? That name sounded familiar. Ethan T. was still diligently trying to decipher the code to open the door. I casually asked him, Brother, do you know Caillou Palace? Ethan T. didn't look up. It belongs to my family. It was truly heaven-sent. I crouched down, clutching his hand sincerely. My dear brother, I'm counting on you tomorrow. At 8 p.m., a private car brought me to Caillou Palace. An employee led me into a private room. As soon as I reached the door, I felt countless eyes staring at me. Is that Hana? Why is she so pretty lately? No way, she's even wearing designer clothes. Who said her situation wasn't good? I calmly took an empty seat and began to enjoy the party. After eating my fill, a shrill voice chirped from beside me. Oh my, Hana, your family's doing well lately, huh? Even wearing LV. But I haven't seen any LV mink coats like this. Where did you buy that, fake? It looks good though, introduce us. I casually draped the fur coat over the back of my chair. A year has passed, Eugene, and you still like to gossip about people, don't you? It's understandable you haven't seen it before, because this is LV's newly launched spring-summer collection. The official website in Korea hasn't even announced it yet. You'll probably have to wait a few more months. Oh, and my coat is custom-made. You won't find an identical one, dear. Eugene's face turned beet red with anger, her words becoming unrefined. Who doesn't know you're the daughter of a criminal? Why pretend to be rich? Do you think you're a princess? I was still wondering what was happening. It turned out it was about my father. I was completely calm. I stood up and said, What's wrong, Unnai? My not taking the university entrance exam or not pursuing higher education, what does that have to do with you? I have LV, do you? My family has a Lamborghini, do you? My family has a mineral mine, do you? Eugene scoffed, pouting. A mineral mine? Don't exaggerate so much. Why don't you just say your father is Chin Yan Nam? I waved my hand. That would be too confusing. Chin Yan Nam is my grandfather. Eugene hugged her stomach and burst into laughter, clapping her hands. Did everyone hear that? She says her grandfather is Chin Yan Nam. A weak hand was raised. The person who spoke was a girl. Oh, you're Hana, right? I was sure I had never met her. She must have been a friend of someone else. Yes, do you know me? She excitedly trotted over to me, her tone both surprised and admiring. Wow, Unnai, I finally get to meet you. My dad told me you're having a birthday party soon, but my family didn't receive an invitation. Can I come to your house to play? This was the first time I had seen a girl with such fair skin, so I felt good about her and happily agreed. Of course, save my number, I'll come pick you up then. Yujin continued to mock. Are you two putting on a show? Class president, what's wrong with your girlfriend? Aren't you going to intervene? As expected, the class president frowned and pulled her back, saying, Yunwoo, sit down. Yunwoo slapped his hand away, quickly walked towards Yujin, raised her hand, and delivered a resounding slap. I've been holding back, you two dare to flirt right in front of me? I'm not that easy, I won't accept people like you two. Minjun, we're breaking up. Wow, amazing. In my heart, I cheered wildly for Yunwoo, but my expression remained neutral. I'm busy, everyone, take your time talking, wait a minute. Yujin's face was swollen from Yunwoo's slap. She wasn't pretty to begin with, and now she looked even worse. I didn't understand what I had done to offend her, but Yujin still wouldn't let me go. You said your grandfather is Chin Yan Nam, fine. You're so rich, then pay for everyone's meal here. I laughed angrily. Why should I pay? She still acted very reasonably. You have so much money, what's wrong with paying for your friend's meal? After saying that, she loudly called, Waiter, check please. The waiter slowly approached and said to me, Hello, esteemed guest, your total bill is 28,000 yuan. Indeed, a luxury restaurant employee, they knew I was wearing expensive clothes just by a glance. The bill was brought to me. Just as I was about to speak, a familiar voice suddenly rang out. This table doesn't need to pay. Yujin exclaimed happily, Mr. T? I looked up, and it was indeed Ethan T. How did Yujin know Ethan T too? Ethan T also looked at her in surprise, asking, You're Yujin? Yujin pretended to be casual, approaching him. Her coy demeanor disgusted others. My mother is Mrs. Kang, do you remember? Ethan T suddenly understood. Ah, the one who asked for a favor about something. I almost burst out laughing. Ethan T's words were always sharp. Yujin's expression twisted slightly but quickly disappeared, then she continued to smile artificially. It's good that Mr. T remembers. Oh right, did you see me here and that's why you're giving us a discount? You really don't have to. Ethan T immediately cut her off, not giving her a chance to say anything more. No, I just came to pick up my sister. Hana, what are you standing there for? Come here. I obediently said, Yes, brother. Then I proactively pushed Yujin, who was standing next to my brother, aside, hooked my arm through his, and smiled at Yujin. No need to pay. Anyway, this place belongs to my family. Consider it my treat for everyone. My brother came to pick me up, I'm leaving now. Everyone, please have fun, and make sure to party hard until morning. After that party, many people kept sending me friend requests. I changed my phone number, and the world finally found peace. The party was held in a sprawling villa complex. The entire hall was filled with pink roses, accented with auspicious flowers. Everyone was dressed in lavish outfits for the party. Stepmother even went all the way to France to have my evening gown custom-made. It must be admitted that the world of the elite truly defied the imagination of ordinary people. Yunwoo's family was not initially on the guest list, but after I told Stepmother about the class reunion, she immediately sent an invitation to Yunwoo's family. Stepmother confided in me, You should make friends with people like her, who dare to love and hate, and most importantly, know how to stand up against injustice. From now on, if anyone dares to bully you, just slap them with money. After all, our family only has money. Hearing Stepmother, I felt incredibly passionate and immediately went to buy 2 designer bags, one for Yunwoo and one for myself. Most of the city's wealthy were present. I saw Yunwoo happily coming over to greet people. Surprisingly, Jaehoon also appeared there. He even looked at me with a disdainful gaze. And Yujin was there too. I didn't know who she came with. She kept fawning over one wealthy person after another. Unfortunately, no one paid her any attention. They just nodded perfunctorily and walked away, leaving her standing there alone and embarrassed. Catching my half-smile, half-sneer, Yujin looked flustered and quickly ran away. I didn't want to get involved with her. Besides, today wasn't the right day to deal with trivial matters, just let her be. Grandpa led me to meet his old friends. Indeed, getting acquainted with his acquaintances was incredibly fortunate. They didn't hesitate to give me many precious pieces of jewelry. After a round of greetings, my neck felt heavy as if I were wearing several pounds. Everyone around was laughing and chatting happily, as if everyone was a member of my family. Suddenly, piercing shouts erupted from outside the door, so loud that they could be clearly heard inside. Stepmother gestured to a security guard, but before he could act, a woman rushed into the house, looking at me with eyes full of hatred. "You demon child, you put your father in prison and you dare to throw a party here to celebrate. Why don't you hurry and find a way to get him out?" I recognized her as my aunt. Seeing that the situation seemed unstable, Stepmother frowned and quietly snapped, "Security, get this person out of here. Let me see who dares to touch me." Aunt Hen took the opportunity to fall to the ground, flailing her arms and legs, feigning distress, absolutely refusing to leave. The wealthy people present had never encountered such a crude, formidable countrywoman and quickly avoided her, inadvertently creating a small space. Aunt Han glared, loudly cursing, "Now that you're rich, you've forgotten about your father and us. Do you think about family at all? Your father is my brother. You put him in prison, making me lose a loved one. How can you be so vicious? How can you be so heartless?" At that, she cried, wiping her tears. My face was cold as I retorted, "He hurt my mother first. He deserves this." "You!" Aunt Han, surprised by my firmness, changed her tone. "Consider it me begging you, can you forgive your father, or compensate me 44 million won as if I've lost a loved one?" I had guessed this beforehand. As family members of my father, there was no such thing as familial affection. The purpose of this play, after all, was merely money. Stepmother silently looked at me, her eyes seeming to say, "I just taught you, don't disappoint me." After the initial anger, I had regained my composure. Everyone around watched as if it were a play. Stepmother and Grandpa clearly looked calculating, while Ethan T looked at me with a worried, almost protective gaze. Instead of getting angry, I simply smiled, then turned to the room to get my purse. I chuckled, "You want money, right? I have plenty here." With that, I took out cash and tossed it into the air. Red banknotes fluttered like falling snowflakes. Aunt Hen shrieked in distress, don't throw it anymore." I ignored her, continuing to scatter money until the entire space was filled with red. I looked at her disdainfully, "If you want it, just pick it up." Provoked by me, Aunt Han lost her composure and screamed, "You may have a lot of money, but it's not yours. You're not their real granddaughter. We're the real family." Not anymore. Grandpa, having probably watched enough of the drama, leaned on his cane and walked over to me, happily patting my shoulder. "You've grown up, finally know how to use money to throw at people." I smiled brightly. "Didn't I learn from you, Grandpa?" Stepmother also walked over, taking my hand, her voice gentle. "Yesterday, your father he's no longer your father. He signed the papers severing parental ties. You and that family have no connection anymore." Aunt Han was stunned. "No way." "You're lying to me?" Stepmother didn't bother to reply, perhaps deeming her not worth her time. Grandpa cleared his throat a few times, then raised his voice, solemnly taking my hand. "Hereby I announce that the Chin Group will be managed by my granddaughter, Hana. From now on, she will be my sole heir." This declaration not only caused a stir among the guests, but also left me dumbfounded. I couldn't believe my ears and asked again, "Grandpa, what did you just say?" Not only was Grandpa smiling, but Stepmother and Ethan T were also smiling. The three of them seemed to have discussed this beforehand, catching me completely off guard. Stepmother said, "Your mother and I thought about it very carefully. We still feel that this is the only way for everyone to recognize you as a member of this family, and we also want you to understand that we truly love you, not because of your mother, and certainly not because you are pitiful. You are flesh and blood of our family, and that will never change. If your biological mother were still alive, she would surely be happy to know this." My eyes welled up, and I burst into tears in Stepmother's arms. My grandfather and Ethan T were happy witnessing us embrace. "Grandpa, big brother, I'm so grateful to all of you." Looking at Stepmother, my tears flowed endlessly. "Thank you, Mom." Stepmother smiled kindly, stroking my head. "Why are you crying like this, my silly Hana? Today is your birthday, you should be happy. Happy birthday." I sniffled. "No, Mom, your nails are hurting me. They're digging into my skin." Stepmother, "Oh, child, why didn't you say anything until now?" Unbeknownst to me, Aunt Han had already been escorted out, while Yunwoo was even more excited than I was, crying and laughing with joy. Ethan T and Stepmother stood not far away, affectionately watching our commotion. Before, I always felt insecure, like an ugly duckling, until one day a fairy godmother appeared, granting me a splendid gown. But after midnight, I would become Cinderella again. Then the fairy godmother would tell me that all those beautiful things were meant for me. So, on my journey to adulthood, I truly became a princess. Fairy tales don't always end sadly. The Little Mermaid doesn't turn into sea foam, Cinderella doesn't necessarily have to marry the prince. In reality, princesses live happily ever after in their own castles, enjoying a joyful life with their families.